Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain, and I'm your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week, 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 159 of our trek, and yesterday we learned at why life is like money. Today and throughout the remainder of this week, we will be presenting a series of short wisdom stories. If you missed any of our days of Wisdom Trek, please go back to wisdom-trek.com and listen to them or read the daily journals. We are recording our podcast from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. This episode will air on the day when Paula and I will be on our 7-day podcasting cruise. This week, while we are out at sea, I have a series of podcasts covering some short stories about wisdom without a lot of additional commentaries. Once we do get back from the cruise, we will remain at camp for a few days and dive back into the commentary on the book of Proverbs. Today we will hike the stormy trail, and we will see that in every life a little or sometimes a lot of rain will fall. Some of it may even be in the middle of very heavy storms. The day starts out with the glory of warming sunshine in the east as the mists of the nights are slowly thrown back to their own beginnings. The silent warmth of the sun seeps slowly through the windows as the birds are bouncing from branch to branch, while high in the sky is seen a majestic eagle gliding slowly on the updrafts created by the warming earth. Does each day start with sunshine penetrating the deep of night? And does your heart warm to the sights and sound of nature all around you? Does this sound a little too good to be true? If your life is constantly full of sunshine, where each day is transformed into the beauty and each worldly gift is yours to use, then you are one of the very few. To the rest of us, an idyllic world only exists in our fantasies. This is not to say, however, that we might not experience a day of warmth, sunshine, and beauty occasionally, but it is only to say that within each life, rain must fall. And this rain is in the reality of pain, sorrow, disappointment, difficulties, and struggles of the true road of life. Phyllis Bottomley said, there are two ways of meeting difficulties. You alter the difficulties, or you alter yourself to meet them. And the story goes like this. Not too many years ago, I happened to meet a businessman who had started with nothing and was able to build a small fortune. It seemed that everything he touched turned to gold. It wasn't really a gold-laden path he chose. It was more that he chose the ventures well and put in tremendous effort. He had a good life, by most people's standards. He also had a wonderful family where his son and his daughter were the apples of his life. The children were blessed with a loving family, everything they needed, and were both moving along fantastic in the careers of their own. If you were to view their household from the viewpoint of a stranger looking in, their total life couldn't have been better. But within each life, there are struggles and turmoils unseen. In his case, while all appeared well, there was a looming family problem with his daughter. His daughter met a very controlling man who constantly mentally influenced her to the point where she didn't want anything to do with her family at all. She had moved in with him, and the distance between the family grew further and further apart. Her father became more and more frustrated and hurt at the same time. He had tried to reconnect with her, but to no avail. He was at a complete loss at what to do to try to get his daughter to even speak with him again. His life was slowly falling apart. It no longer mattered to him about his career, his business, or his ability to make things better. So into each life, rain must fall. As the months passed, his world was crumbling. His mind was totally focused on his daughter. What once was a home filled with warmth and sunshine became one of total depression, moody and dark. The sad situation continued for over a year. But then, out of the blue, one Saturday morning, the front door opened. There she was, standing alone with her suitcase in her hand. He had heard the door open and went to see who was there. As he turned the corner from the kitchen, he stopped and saw his daughter with her suitcase. Without a word, he approached her, hugged her, and she welcomed her father into her arms. As he told me later, they didn't speak a word for many minutes as they continued their warm embrace. To this day, he is not sure exactly what happened with her relationship. She never spoke about why she had left, only to say that she slowly realized that she was more of a person than one given the absolute control of another. She realized that her life was more about how she had been raised, not what someone else dictated to her. Not every situation in life is reversed, as was in this situation. But if you are a parent, hope never dies. Life has its own way of throwing rain on us, but even rain stops. The real secret to life is to understand that we all must face and deal with the rain. There is no protection, there is no stopping life from dealing us a hand, and a hand that we do not particularly want. But keep your head above water. Keep to your core beliefs. Keep looking for the sun because it is there. In a way, the story reminds me about the parable of the Prodigal Son in Luke 15, where the son had come to his senses and returned home after squandering all of his money. The father had a right to be very upset, but instead he said in verse 23 and 24, "And kill the calf that we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast, for this son of mine who was dead has now returned to life. He was lost, but now is found." So the party began. And I would recommend that you read the entire story in Luke 15. It is a fascinating one. The son's value was never diminished, and after the rainy storm, the son returned, both figuratively and literally. Today we looked at why life is like a storm, and into every life a little rain must fall. For some of us, that does come in a form of very violent storms, but the sun will always shine after even the worst storms. The lessons that we can learn from each other are so valuable. So encourage your family and friends to join us each day and to come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. And for the next few days, we'll continue to explore some more short wisdom stories. And that'll finish our podcast for today. Remember to listen to your daily dose of wisdom at wisdom-trek.com or subscribe at iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, or Google Play. And then the episodes will be downloaded to you automatically each day. And as I mentioned, please share Wisdom Trek with your family and friends through email, Facebook, Twitter, or in person, and then come along with us each day for another day of Wisdom Trek. The journal for today's trek can be found at wisdom-trek.com. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide and your mentor, but most importantly, your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.